For the first time in America's history, the next generation could be less prosperous and have fewer opportunities than their parents and grandparents because their government spends too much. The last thing I want to do is leave my kids and grandkids with a tab they're unable to pay off later. And that means putting the federal government on a diet now. While the President has failed to lead on this issue, my House colleagues and I have been busy passing two responsible and, may I add, bipartisan budgets that reduces spending and protects taxpayer dollars. In contrast, my colleagues in the Senate haven't passed a budget since April 2009. Not only is the Senate dodging its own duties by failing to pass a budget, it's creating a climate of uncertainty for businesses and families. Companies and consumers hold back on spending when they're unsure what new taxes may be sprung on them next. In turn, this hinders job creation. These spending limits are critical to holding back the growth of government and giving the private sector a chance to grow and create jobs. Rooting out government waste is also of high importance. That's why we passed legislation eliminating and consolidating dozens of federal programs, including 40 ineffective programs at the U.S. Department of Education alone. I also voted to cut the operating budget for House offices by 11%, and to make sure our country doesn't drive itself into a deeper hole, I voted in favor of a balanced budget amendment to the Constitution. We must put an end to delegating even more hard-earned taxpayers' dollars to politicians and bureaucrats who spend irresponsibly without a plan and without an understanding of the needs of real Americans. I remain committed to letting families and businesses keep more of their resources so that our country can grow the private sector and create jobs, while protecting our children and grandchildren from having to pay our tab.